You know, one of the most common questions that I'm asked by pastors, leaders, elders, departmental ministry teams of Multisite is will Multisite grow my church? Well, there's no simple answer for that, but I can tell you this: Multisite is not a growth strategy. Growth is the exponential result of Multisite done well. And there's a lot of different perspectives out there about Multisite and what it will do for our ministry, but you have to evaluate this by looking at a couple of key things. One is the missional versus the numerical. You know, Multisite has got to birth out of the mission or the vision of the ministry. Many times churches see other churches doing things well and they think, I want to do that. It's the next big thing. It's what everybody's talking about, or it's popular, or, you know, I love to see the big crowds and I'd love to have multiple campuses. And those are all great things to aspire to for the kingdom, but it's really a huge task to take on Multisite. And so it's missional versus numerical. It's the mission and the vision of what you're trying to accomplish as a ministry. Is Multisite a part of that? It can't be solely based upon, well, we want to grow, so we want to do Multisite. In fact, it's been said before, it's more about boots on the ground than butts in the seat. In other words, doing Multisite is a part of fulfilling the mission and the vision of who you are as a ministry. If you are a huge community-focused ministry, then a Multisite should fulfill that vision. That campus, so to speak, should be just as engaging in the community as the founding campus or the original campus is. If your ministry is an extremely small group focused ministry, well then your Multisites need to be small group focused as well, because that is the secret to your success. I call it, that's the secret sauce to your ministry. You know, there's a food franchise out there that's got a sandwich that's got a secret sauce. You know, and that's what makes that sandwich great. Well, every ministry has got its own secret sauce. Sometimes it's the communicator, sometimes it's the music, sometimes it's the exponential ministries that are there, the generational ministries, or sometimes it's small groups. Whatever it is that makes your ministry special and do what it does is what you want to concentrate on when thinking about Multisite. And if those are the things that have made your ministry a success, then those are the things that you need to duplicate at a campus or Multisite level. It's missional versus numerical. The numerical growth is the exponential process that comes out of fulfilling your mission at a Multisite level. The second thing to consider is strategic versus eccentric. You know, it's kind of like when you're driving, and we use GPSs all the time right now. In fact, coming from the airport to film this session today, I was navigating from the airport to my hotel last night, and my GPS sent me to a wrong turn, and I had to recalibrate and figure out which way to get back to the freeway to get to the hotel last night to prepare to be here today. Well, in considering Multisite as a ministry, you've got to make sure your GPS is plugged into your strategy as a church. The strategy has got to include Multisite. If Multisite has not been part of your long-term strategy of your ministry, then you need to consider that. Now, you can go back and you can reevaluate your strategies. You can include new deliverables as an organization, include Multisite as a part of your strategic plan, but it really needs to become a part of that. Multisite is not something to flip a switch on and try. It needs to be something that you strategically engage. And it can't be eccentric. In other words, it can't just be the next big thing for your ministry or the next idea that you've been inspired by because you visited another church and they're a Multisite church and you thought, man, we need to go Multisite. And it very well could be that God is leading you in that direction, but it's got to move into the strategic versus the eccentric. It can't just be an idea or a place of excitement. It's got to be strategically ingrained into the mission and the vision of your church. Again, so it's more about the missional versus the numerical. Multisite is not necessarily a growth strategy. Growth is the exponential result of Multisite done well. And then secondly, it's the strategic versus the eccentric. It's got to be a part of your strategic plan versus just a great idea.